So today, the title of today's talk is Mastering Minds, Master Life. And following service, we're going to do a couple different things with this because there's just the idea of mastering life, but then following service at the workshop, we're going to do a masterminding workshop. And that's called masterminding your business, instead of, okay. I don't have to state the obvious. But I believe in inviting people to my party. That's one thing about me. When I find out something good, I want you all there. I can't even help it. I had to learn to have discipline because my problem is if I know I'm going to a good movie, suddenly I want to call everybody and have everybody go to the movie. I want everybody to come to the workshop. I want everybody to read a book. I want everybody to eat whatever new good food. I can't help it. It's this thing. It's probably why I needed to have a center, because I kept wanting to invite everybody to the party, and that's the party of life, and at the moment it's the party of my life, which I keep working at to make the party of my life better. And I will never cease doing that. You need to know that I will never cease working at cleaning up, fixing, forgiving, whatever it means, that I can continue to earn the right to stand here. Okay, because you have to earn the right to stand here, and I know that. So I believe in supporting individuals to their individual goals. And that's one thing you're going to hear more and more about, and that's something we have been chatting about for a while, is the idea of cooperation and collaboration. If you really want your life to be juicy, support someone else in getting what they want, even if you're never going to benefit. Make sure if you have a book that you think someone can benefit from, that don't just tell them about it, maybe you give it to them. Whatever it takes. Show up for someone else and watch how your life expands. You understand? Even with this whole Habitat for Humanity thing, if everyone who has been going there to volunteer could stand here right now and tell you, anyone who picked up a hammer, they would tell you how they benefited, how their hearts opened up, and what happened for them. To be in service to another human is to expand your own consciousness, and that's what we're here to do. I believe in moving from competition to collaboration. Now, I have to be honest with you about this. I had to learn that one. It took me a while to learn not to feel threatened. It took me a while to feel generous and fearless and confident. Now, thank God it's been a while, but it wasn't automatic. That didn't come with the cloak of ministry. It took a while. And the reason why is because I had to build my self-confidence, and I had to build my self-awareness around that. And as my self-confidence built, then I no longer had to feel threatened, because I learned that we live in a world of plenty. We live in a world of plenty, and we live in a country of plenty. This is still a place where we can grab hold of something that matters in our hearts and run with it. We all have the right to do that. And any perceived ceiling is a self-imposed glass ceiling. Self-imposed is the key word here. So as we collaborate our efforts and work together and love each other and recognize someone's talent and then do everything we can do to give place for that talent to be expressed, we are cultivating a world that works for everyone. And when you and I are part of creating a world that works for everyone, we are immediately uplifted. Yes? Yes. That's who we are. That's who I know us to be and want to know us to continue to be. It means you have to go out of your way sometimes. Don't think that you could do it from your couch. You got it? It does take effort. It takes awareness, it takes consciousness, and it takes effort. I believe in community. And if you don't know that by now, I believe that we don't come here, as you know, we don't come here to save ourselves from heaven and hell. We come here to rise up through joy, through love, mutual inspiration, supporting each other. But I believe that there's a power in community that precedes us when we walk in on a Sunday morning. Because it's a vessel that's here. It's always here ready to receive you. And because we all show up here for each other, just merely by walking in the door, it should feel like this. Whoop! You understand? I think that most of you feel that most of the time. I do think that we have cultivated that kind of community. I believe where two or more are gathered, not only is life involved, but that there's a synergy. When you have at least one person who believes in you, who believes in your dream, now that dream, and you can replace the word dream with anything you want. Maybe it's a degree you want to accomplish. Maybe it's a home you want to acquire. Maybe it's a trip around the world. Maybe it's a career that you finally want your career to explode. It doesn't matter what that is. Find one person that will believe in you. And if you think you can't find one person within the walls of this community, you haven't looked. You haven't looked. Ask somebody. Cultivate partnerships. Cultivate support. Be seen and see, and do that for each other. And watch how the synergy grows a newer, greater third thing. Raymond Charles Barker has a book, one of the best books ever, and one of the best courses ever, is The Power of Decision. Hands down, you've heard, Reverend Stephen talk about it, Reverend Joel talk about it, you've heard me talk about it, we've all taught the course. Dr. David Walker, before he passed a number of years ago, he was a beloved minister and a one-time president of our organization. He referred to it as having a decided mind. So yesterday we had a class, The Power of Your Words, such a great class. I'm having such a great time. And we likened not making a decision and not having a choice like getting into your car and putting your GPS on and never putting an address in. Where are you going to go? Wherever your nose leads you. But when you go into the car, you go and you make a decision. It means you've had you're clear. You've made a decision. You have a decided mind. And you put the address in that GPS. Now you have a partner. You had someone to receive the instruction. And now together, you're going to get to where you're going. I know on occasion it doesn't always work, but for this purpose, it always works. You always get to where you want to go. But it takes your conscious participation. It takes your willingness. And when you have a decided mind, it means that you are determined. Another thing we spoke about yesterday, when you want to refer to mastering life, is to, I believe that which lifts us out of the law of averages is when you cultivate faith, as we spoke about before, and conviction. Because we all have the same opportunities. But when you want something enough and you have decided on that thing, and then you have the conviction of that thing, and you put your word behind it, and you put your thinking behind it, and you put everything that you are behind that, you raise yourself up out of the law of averages in the direction one step at a time to where you want to go. We say a lot here that we all have choice. We do have choice, but mostly the awake have choice. Choice is a luxury of self-awareness. You get that? Having choice is the luxury of being awake and having self-awareness. You have to know what's running you in order to know what's interrupting your good. So sometimes someone will ask me, well, if I pay attention to what's not working, aren't I making that grow? No, because you're not going to pay attention to it for a long time. You're paying attention long enough so that it dissipates, so it doesn't own you. I lived alone for 18 years. I had gotten into my own routine. In moves my fiancé. He commands a fair amount of attention, don't you think? He never moseys into a room quietly. He's just there, like a presence. Suddenly I had this presence. I didn't even have God in my life that big. Suddenly I had this presence in my life at every turn. I'm like, what is he doing here? What did I do? I got to share. I had to figure everything out. It's been interesting. It's been good, though. Good. And then what I got, because I heard my mind, because I have the luxury, because I am self-aware, and I grow that. And I heard my objection and my confusion and my fear. It was really the fear of sharing. It was the fear that I couldn't do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do without permission. I had that fear governing me for 18 years. I was a free bird. So I heard that fear, and you know what I did? I remembered to choose what I had chosen. I want you to get that. I heard myself at one point because I had to say out loud to remind myself, I chose him. I called him into my life. He was not some stranger off the street. But suddenly the fear was activating these things in me like he was some stranger off the street. Like, what the hell? So I had to remember that I set that in motion. So what happens is very often, each one of you, all the time, you make a choice, but you forget that you made that choice. And then you think it happens to you. Right? You know what I'm talking about? You think you just happen to be with that person who's making you miserable. You think you happen to take a job with a boss you don't like. You sabotage or you undermine your own self because you took a job for money instead of for your peace of mind and joy and full self-expression. Now, sometimes you have to do that. But when you do that, choose what you have chosen. Just choose what you have chosen. Commit to what you chose. You understand the point? Now suddenly it's not happening to you, it's happening through you because you designed it. You get this? It's a very powerful distinction. So to live masterfully in your life means that you grow your self-awareness to realize, I put me here. No one did this to me. No one landed me in this body. No one put me in this relationship. No one but me chose the divorce. I got pregnant. Like all the things we think, oh, what did I do? You did it. And when you realize that you did it, you choose what you have chosen, you commit to that, and there is power in that. So to live a masterful life says that you choose what you already chose, to be who you already are. and to bless that which is in your life, because there's a part of you where you chose it consciously. But there's a part of you that chose it from the state of the unconscious, the less than awake. Now, believe it or not, even that part is working for you. Even that part is working on your behalf, in your favor. So, the person that's driving you a little bit crazy, send them a thank you note. The illness, the disease that you have to get on top of, write it a note, a blessing. Because it's probably the thing that's having you pay attention to your body temple and your health. The job that's just irking you. Pay attention to that. Be thankful for that. Gratitude and blessing transforms everything that's before us from that thing that we think we don't want into a blessing. If you do this in the nature that I'm speaking of, can you stand for a second? You could, whoever that person is in front of you, they could be challenging you by irking you, or they could be there in your life as a blessing. But if you do this in the right nature of what I'm saying, and really from the heart place, you'll walk up and you'll say to that person, thank you. Thank you for being in my life. Now they have no clue, are they a pain in the ass? Or are they a blessing? If you've done it right, thank you. Do you understand? If you've done it right, because you got to the heart of it. So they won't really know, well, is this code for I've been annoying, or does she love me? But it doesn't matter, because it's your consciousness that you're dealing with. It's your consciousness, your world. And if you want to transform it, you have to masterfully handle the way you approach everything all the time. You got it? This is very important. I think I did what I had to do. Did I do what I have to do? Did you get that point? Okay. You know, we can't just haphazardly walk around here as practitioners or ministers and just say, oh, there are no victims, there are only volunteers. Not without giving you the tools to transform the way you see yourself. That's just kind of cold. Because we come from, you know, we have a beginner's mind, and as we move on, we move up in our self-awareness and our awakeness. So the more awake we become, the more we can grab hold of these things. But until that time comes, we have to do the work. And I'm so glad that this is the book of the month, and it's something that's been near and dear to my heart lately in all areas of my life is kindness. I had a little something that happened the other day, and someone, I walked into a room eagerly to say hello to somebody, and that person, before I could hug them or say hello to them, was in my face and was, and I went, and I walked out of the room. I didn't know what to do. All of my jersey got out in my mind. I thought, that's not who I am. That's not who I am anymore. There had to be something going on. So I got through the whole thing with just experiencing it within myself, moving past it within myself, and received a note having not said a single word of apology from this person who recognized it. But thank you, God, I did not give life to her momentary insanity. Thank you, God. So it's good that we don't give life to someone's momentary insanity, because then it makes it more real, and it even convinces them that they're wrong, and that's not what we want to do. You understand? So let's hold the hand of someone we love, even if we don't know them. So as we feel the vibration of love and possibilities that moves through us, on this good, holy, and perfect day. Let us be the one that rises up in self-awareness, that rises up in our own awakeness, and realizes that every moment, that at every fork in the road, we get to make a choice, and that choice is to be awake, to be kind, to be loving. So we bring all of those skills and all of that talent to the world, and we show up in our fully orbed, beautiful selves. I know for each one of us and everyone within this community that anything that exists in our subconscious that is contrary to this truth is neutralized by the power of this word, which is not the word of Michelle Wadleigh. It is the word of the I am of me, that greater part of me, the fullness of me, which is the fullness of each of us. Let us believe in the power and the presence of love present in every one of us here, especially in ourselves. Let us stay present to the messages that undermine us and weed them out, one thought, one belief, one fear at a time, and say, no, this is not my truth. This is not my truth. This is not who I am. Let us feel the power of that, and let us surrender all of our judgments and resistance, and just accept the portion of good in our lives that is ours. Let us live into a world of possibility with abundant gratitude for this word and so much more. And let this word be so. Please join me in saying, and so it is. Thank you all.